Hello, everybody. This is Brother C again coming at you today. I just I just really wanted to briefly talk about and follow up with a post that I pasted on Facebook about how essential uh, justice system reformation is right now, and people don't understand how deep it is and how all of these different issues tie in together, from the police brutality that we're so used to seeing in the black community, and how that ties in with the justice system and their initiatives and what's going on. I just wanted to give you guys a more clearer picture of it. For those that don't know, I'm sure there's believe me, there's tens of thousands of people that know exactly why justice reformation needs to take place. So let me get into this as soon as possible, as quick as possible, because I have to go out and try to get some work done today. Now, our justice system is set up from the time of an arrest. There's a certain due process that is supposed to be followed. Sadly, down here in Georgia and in many southern states, that due process looks a little different than it does up north. Now, when a person is arrested, and with black people, and this is why there needs to be such reform in police when they arrest people, and how they do that, because over 50% of the arrests made of black people are really done through the course of violations of their rights. So, knowing that, people try to figure out, well, why is it done like that? Well, you have a big system, and the system is really capitalistic in origin. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. And it has grown into a really big capitalistic machine of making money. So what has to happen is people have to be arrested in mass numbers, and then those numbers have to be filtered into the jails. A lot of times when people go into the jails, they receive, high bonds. They can't get out. And by them wanting to get out, they're wanting to get the case over with. We have a very large percentage of people that plea out the crimes that they haven't even committed just so they can get out of jail. So there's a lot of things that are going on. But I just want to explain some simple steps so that you guys can know and have a little more information that you have. Once you're arrested and you go over to the jail, immediately thereafter, you're supposed to have what they call a first appearance or a bond hearing, where a bond is set, and then they determine whether you are eligible for a bond at that particular point. After that phase, then you go into what is called probable cause. Now, most states have a set time to establish probable cause, and usually it's within 30 days. They have to establish probable cause for your arrest. And they've concocted so many schemes within the justice system to make people waive that. It's called a preliminary hearing. And I want to tell people now, and I encourage everybody who's offered a preliminary hearing to take it, because if the police don't show probable cause, they have to release you. But now, after probable cause, you have arraignment, and that's when you make your formal plea of guilt or innocence in a case. The thing about it is our system is so backed up and backlogged that people's constitutional rights to a quick and speedy trial are constantly violated with impunity, and that's what is wrong. In most jurisdictions, you're supposed to be brought to trial within 120 days from the time that you demand trial. So if you come in at preliminary hearing and you demand trial within 4 months, you should be in trial. It rarely ever happens that way, guys. And like I said, it varies from state to state. See, some states, at the preliminary hearing, your case will go to a grand jury. Some states doesn't require that it do. Down here in Georgia, they require that it do, because they know their judges are really retards, and they basically don't make proper calls on what is probable cause to seek a conviction. And sometimes it goes to the grand jury, and the grand jury says, no, we can't indict. We're not going to return an indictment on this because, for whatever reasons they choose. A lot of times it will, and then ultimately you'll end up then at arraignment where you make it a plea of guilt or innocence, and then you got time to do your pretrial motions and everything before you get into trial. Now, the only thing that is messed up with this whole system is that it is so backlogged because of the mass arrests that the people that defend you, because everybody can't afford a lawyer, so the people that defend you are public defenders. And each public defender might be sitting with 100 to 200 cases that they have of people that can't afford to get out of jail, that have to sit in the jail and are defending on counsel, free counsel. And they're so backlogged in their cases, they sit down and their first option is to try to plea your case out. You know, they're going to come talk to you and, hey, man, what happened? Well, did you do it? Oh, did you not do it? This and that and that and that. And their first thing that they're going to try to do is get with the district attorney and figure out a way to resolve your case that makes it the easiest for them, which is understandable. They're sitting there with 200 cases in front of them. You know, if everybody demanded trial, you would bust the system. You would bust the jail system, because if everybody demanded trial, they'd have to start letting people go by mass numbers. If everybody just said, look, I'm going to demand trial, because they wouldn't have no place to keep putting you. All right? But at any rate, the public defender's office, and I don't want to say these guys are incompetent, because they're not. You have a lot of very good attorneys that work for the public defender's office. They're just overworked. And by them being overworked, they really, really try to resolve your case. It's like they go into a bargaining session with the district attorneys. Hey, man, give me this case, I'll give you that one. Hey, well, this guy's going to fight this one here. Let's do this. Let's offer him these many years and him that many. Let's give him some probation. And they sit there and they actually are supposed to be opposing sides, but they work. You got to understand, the public defender's source of funding is the same source of funding from the DA. You see what I mean? So a lot of times they work in concert, and they are part of the mass conviction and mass incarceration problems that the United States of America has. Now, I'm telling you guys this stuff because I want you to understand these things, why it needs to be reformed. See, if the police were held accountable every time they violated somebody's rights, they'd stop doing it. So that's what we need. We need the police to be trained in First and Fourth Amendment rights really quickly, because the police believe if you say something bad to them, they can arrest you. And they can't. You could say the most vile, terrible thing that you want to say to a police officer, and they can't arrest you as long as you don't threaten them. Now, your Fourth Amendment right protects you from illegal search and seizure. The police can't start searching you to find a reason to lock you up. That's against the law. For them to search you, you have to be under arrest, man. So you guys have to understand, there are so many rights that are being violated, and the police have to mass incarcerate or make mass arrests to feed that hungry beast of the jail system. All right? Now, people hate when I say this, but I'm just giving you a fact. The jail system is just another form of slavery. You can be worked for free and not paid a dime. Especially in Georgia, they give you no money. Other places, they try to make some kind of payment because they're getting anywhere from $18,000 to $22,000 annually to house and believe me, there's a lot of extra money left over. They give you 3 uniforms. They give you very small amount of goods that you need to take care of yourself, soaps and stuff that is essential, and the food, believe me, and mass And if you look at it from a mass, the tray can't be no more than $1 to $2 a tray. So there's a lot of money left over, and you have some states that'll take some of that money because they're being allocated that money for you being there. They'll allow you to work for $1 a day, a couple dollars, or whatever the case may be, so that you can buy some goods off commissary or so on and so forth. But all the work that you do, you're really doing work that people in the community should be hired to do and be making an honest living wage doing it. And that's the terrible thing with the system right now, is because they've stopped allowing brothers to go to school. I mean, earn degrees and things of that nature. If you're going to lock somebody up, you should allow them to be able to better themselves. But then you had all of these people that got in hoopla and went up in arms and, oh, how can you get a better education than me and I haven't broken the law? You know, and all that old bull smack. But there's a lot of different things that you guys have to look at. And the Black Lives Matter movement fighting for this reformation and fighting for these changes is essential for the betterment of our communities, and not just our communities, but America as a whole. Because guess who else is going to enjoy these reformations? Believe me, white people going to enjoy them too. Hispanics going to enjoy. Everybody's going to enjoy these reforms and changes, because I want you to understand that the penitentiary program is more of a different color schematic. They lock up more black people than anybody. I'm not going to go into that conversation, because some people have waged some retarded conversations to me in that era. If you've been locked up, you know I'm not lying. All right, and the thing about it is the biggest color in this whole scheme is green, because it's people that aren't rich and don't have a lot of money are the ones 9 times out of 10 likely going to end up in the penitentiary. People that got the money for good lawyers a lot of times get off, go home. But it's the people that don't have the money that are in there. You know what I mean? And if you look at some of the statistics for the jails, you'll understand how it's terrible, man. It's terrible. It's terrible. And you know, they don't want to tell you these numbers. They don't want to tell you that 7 out of 10 of those guys are really strung out on drugs and alcohol. They're not going to tell you that 80% of those guys live right at or below the line of poverty. They're not going to tell you that 2 out of 10 of those 10 guys have verifiable mental health issues where they need to be treated in a whole different facility. They're also not going to tell you that senior citizens, oh my God, senior citizens and homeless people sit in these jails because they won't build homeless shelters and they don't want to spend the money. Oh man, it's just this, man. It's just mind-boggling how it's been allowed to get to the state that it's in. But reformation of that system would be a betterment for the country as a whole. Now, you're going to have a lot of people that say, oh, well, heck, if you do the crime, you should do the time. And listen to me. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. All right? Because see, what people don't understand is the sentencing guidelines are so much more stiff for African Americans. You can get the same circumstances of the same crime from a person that's white and a person that's black. The guy that's black will end up in a penitentiary. The white guy will get probation. And I've seen it a million times, guys. So these are problems that exist. These are problems that need to be examined. These are problems that need to be changed. So to all of those that are out there in the trenches, on the front lines, and I just want to send some shout outs, man, to white folks becoming non-racist, and to the Shut It Down pages. You know, I love the content that you guys have. All of the Black Lives Matter page. You guys are keeping this on the forefront and the minds of the public. And so I just want to send a shout out to all of you guys. I want to say to all of my brothers and sisters that are members of the Black Lives Matter movement, man, keep it going. We cannot stop. We cannot rest. policing bills that change the police's interactions with the community on a day-to-day basis has to happen. Judicial system reform has to happen. So we got to stay on the lines. We got to stay protesting and stay with the movement. Oh, and to my brothers and sisters out there in Portland, man, keep your heads up. Keep your heads up. My prayers go out to you guys on a daily basis, man. You are fighting the good fight. Never let nobody tell you different. And at some point, your protestations are going to be recognized as valid and valuable cries for much needed change. So I just want to say, man, you guys are brave, courageous warriors, and I love you guys for it. To all my family and friends, I love all of you guys. You stay in my prayers constantly. I'm going to sign off now, but I just want you guys to always remember, Black Lives Matter. Peace.